Hello and welcome. I can't do Travis's shit. This is the Creatia Conversation, your number one news source for all that nerd-ish on Pornhub, as well as everywhere else that we release these videos. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasts, and the warden, Matt Ritter, and I am here with my co-host, like my real co-host for most of what I do, Daddy Delgado, the Salt and Spitter Swallow, SES Vince. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just cooked me up nice café con leche. Had a really nice morning.
Coffee with milk?
Yeah. It's so instead of making coffee with water, you make it with like boiling milk. Yeah, it's more of a Latino thing.
I mean, you can do the same thing with hot chocolate. You can make it with hot water or boiling milk.
No, true, exactly. But I'm saying like usually with a lot of times with coffee, especially like in Mexican households, it's more like made with milk for whatever reason. But yeah, I have my café con leche ready. I was waiting eagerly, as most comic book fans, for James Gunn's DCEU announcement.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So I'm doing good. Some stuff underwhelmed me. Some stuff I was excited for, but more or less, I'm good to go. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Busy.
I bet there's less and less stuff behind your TV and Chucky.
Yeah, it gets that way. But no, just we're supposed to be getting our countertops in today. So Kate was calling me about that because they have our sink and they were asking us where the sink was. And I was like, you have the sink. And if you didn't bring the sink, you need to go get the sink, because that's kind of the whole point of this, is that I have a fucking sink. So that's going on. I got to get off here and put Zoe's car seat in my mom's truck before I go to work so that she can take Zoe over to the new house, drop her off to Kate later, depending on how long they're going to be there. It's just a lot going on. And then I'm here with all of you who, I mean,
there's two of us here.
There's two of us here. Vince.
Yes.
You been playing anything? You been watching anything?
Mostly like it's mostly been that 70s show stuff. Not even gonna lie to you. It's been fun going back and watching the series that I grew up watching. It's been good. In terms of playing, I'm like I said, my goal right now is to platinum Spider-Man Miles Morales, because I beat the game, but I need to finish all the side missions. But I recently picked up the Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2 and never actually finished the game. So I'm starting from scratch. I created my Saiyan. He has that generic Time Patrol's like Saiyan suit that I'm trying to get out of the way and like actually buy some cool stuff. So I'm trying to get him closer to like being what Vince is and not just like generic Space Patrol Saiyan guy. So that's really what I'm like trying to focus my energy on.
Does Saiyan Vince have the 70s porn stash?
No. Just because all I have is a mustache. Well, I have some this here.
You got but just because
but just because I have the mustache, everyone seems to imagine me or reimagine me in like cartoon or animated form or video game form as like stereotypical porn mustache or Mexican stereotypical mustache, and I just don't get that.
Well, see, that's why I went for porn stash, because I didn't want to be stereotypical and racist.
Well, listen, when you made my Funko Pop initially, bringing me into Creatia World, you made me look like Pedro from fucking. No, actually, you made me look like my dad with like the fucking, with the hair.
And what is wrong with looking like your father? Like that was. You should look like your dad. If he's your dad, you should look like him.
You made me look like a 50-year-old Mexican that sat in the sun too long. I'm just saying.
Shout out to Amani, Travis, Will, and Just all in the chat joining us. Yeah, no, I made you look like your dad. Your dad was supposed to make you look like your dad. That's how genetics work. So did I do a better job than your dad did of making you look like part of the family?
I look more like my mom. Like if I stand next to my dad, I look like a paler version of my dad. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
All right. Just you don't got to make the mustache too thick because one, it's not that thick, and then once it gets too thick, we cross territories.
Dude, it's not like there were a lot of Funko Pop choices there, bro. It's not like there's a whole WWE 2K23 creation suite that I can go into and, edit down every last little detail of your mustache.
You should have paid for the premium. You should have went to the Funko store. And
isn't a premium. It's not available.
I suppose.
All right.
But what about you, man? What you playing? Are you still playing Pokemon?
Pokemon, and I'm right before we started, I was still trying to get my shiny Froakie from Blaine's. I need one more, and then I'll have the whole family. I got 2 the other night. I need one more.
All right.
I was at work till like 2:30. Got home about 3. Fell asleep about 4. Then got up and got ready to do this. So I haven't been able to do too much last night, or that's why I was messing with it a little bit this morning. No, Matt is not in his new spot. This is the exact same spot. I just moved the camera. New spot will be next week, probably, maybe for a Friday episode of Creatia Conversation, but definitely for Smack and Raw will be the first one in my new spot. Yeah, next week Friday.
Ooh.
So we start moving Monday. But yeah, just that. Are you a fan of the National Treasure movies?
No.
No, you're not.
No.
Okay, well then.
Never watched a single one.
Anyway, there's a National Treasure TV show on Disney Plus that Kate got me into that we've been watching that I'm really enjoying. So.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna check that out.
Well, once you said you're not into the movies, I wasn't like, well, Vince, you should really go watch the TV show because if you don't like the movies, you'll love it. Like, that's not how that works.
It could be how that works. You got to try to talk me into it.
I tried that with Travis yesterday in Harry Potter, and he's like, you're one of those anime fans who's like, oh, you got to wait till episode 68, and then it gets really good. Amani, if you like National Treasure, the show is worth watching. So, one, they've cast a very diverse group of characters. It's not just all white folks, which is nice. And it's an interesting story. There are some original characters from the movies in there. So far it's cool. I'm enjoying it. And it's actually all about like a Hispanic treasure. The daughters of the plumed serpents that protected a combined Mayan, Aztec, and Inca treasure that has like their whole history and everything like that. And they're trying to protect it. And there was a whole jailbreak scene in the last episode. Like there's some good shit. There's some really good shit in there. It's all about Malinche. We learned a little bit about, different Hispanic women who helped explorers in the New World and stuff like that. So there's some cool shit in there.
It sounds cool.
Yeah.
I will say that.
But your mic sounds weird.
1 sec.
Stop touching stuff, Vince. What are we waiting on?
I'm trying to fix my audio.
You sound fine now. You just sounded weird when you started playing with it. I don't know why you were playing with it.
I wasn't playing with it. I think I think I might need a new USB cable because it's just like disconnecting and connecting and going straight to my desktop audio instead of my mic.
Okay. Well, that does sound better. That does.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right, let's get into some news. I got an article up here. Travis sent it in. It is from IGN, Cap Bailey. So E3,
Yes.
the big gaming
Entertainment
Expo says all 3 of gaming's first-party console manufacturers appear poised to skip E3's big return. So first physical event in 4 years because of COVID and everything. Was supposed to be a triumphant return for the trade show, an opportunity to recapture some of the excitement of past conventions, which historically have been major showcase events for the games industry. However, it appears when E3 2023 hits Los Angeles Convention Center in June, it will be without its most important draws. IGN has heard from multiple knowledgeable sources that Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo won't be a part of E3 2023 or have a presence at the Los Angeles Convention Center show floor. This information comes on the heels of Xbox's announcement last week that it would be returning to Los Angeles for its annual summer showcase, while declining to confirm whether it would be part of E3 itself. Speaking with IGN last week, Xbox CEO Phil Spencer said the platform holder is timing its showcase with E3 at a moment convenient for press and even consumers at the event, meaning it's likely to roughly align with the event itself. Spencer has also stressed Xbox's public support for E3 and Entertainment Software Association. However, IGN understands that Xbox won't have a booth on the show floor. And, it goes on to talk more about everything else. That's a big blow for E3 because then, I guess Steam is going to be their big showcase. Yes, you do like playing with yourself or with it and yourself.
I mean,
who doesn't like playing with themselves?
Who doesn't like to play with it? But if you do need to play with it, I think you should get a little help, some assistance, if you will.
And to do that, whether you're playing with it or you're playing with someone else, you can go to mycentralsecrets.com, which boasts one of the largest catalogs on the web across all varying levels of adult toy categories, with toys for him, for her, and for both. The product line is extensive compared to other competitors in the sexual wellness industry. Orders ship within 24 hours, so customers are always satisfied with both the price and quality. MyCentralSecrets.com has top-rated reviews and exceptional customer service. So go to sensual.creationworld.com to receive 10% off your order today. That's sensual.creationworld.com. Oh, hi, Travis.
And get some help playing with it.
Did you want to come on and expand upon the importance of us missing people from E3, or did you just want to give Vince shit about playing with it?
Little column A and column B,
Okay. He let himself on. Unfortunately, he has the power to do that.
He has all the power.
I was getting back to E3.
I know. But this was a big deal for me, and I'm just like, I'm sitting here already, so I can just hop in and talk E3 with y'all for a minute.
No, 100%.
It's just because it's simultaneously a big deal and not a big deal. It's one of those things where E3 used to be the event of the year when it comes to video games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people look forward to it every year. Once June came around, I used to schedule like my work schedule around it. Like, I would take days off of work when E3 came around. No bullshit.
You guys used to cover E3.
We did, and I had planned on covering it again this year, but probably not going to be worth it. The thing is, everybody's doing their own shit now. Like, they do their state of plays, or the Xbox did their whole thing last week when they announced a whole bunch of shit. It used to be we waited for E3 to get all those announcements. Well, that's not the case anymore. They do their own thing throughout the year. We also have Summer Games Fest now. We have Gamescom that's over in Germany. They do it at the end of the summer. There's PAX now. There's all these other things that happen throughout the year, and the E3 just honestly is not that big of a deal anymore, which is why none of them are actually trying to be a part of it. Like, PlayStation skipped out of that shit back in 2019. And just did their own little showcase thing like a week or two before E3. It used to be where all the big companies, Xbox, PlayStation, Ubisoft, Nintendo, Square Enix, some years would do a press conference leading into E3. So like technically those press conferences weren't a part of E3, but it was part of E3. So it'd be like, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then E3 itself technically started on Tuesday. Would be, the last one being Nintendo that morning. And then after that, E3 starts, and it's all stuff on the showcase floor with different people in the press coming to check stuff out and try things out and all that. Like, it used to be this big exclusive thing. You had to be invited to go. They tried to expand to make some more money by inviting normal people there that they had to pay to get in and all that shit. And it just wasn't working. It started falling apart a long time ago. It's just.
So essentially, this would be kind of like if Marvel and DC kind of pulled out of Comic-Con and did their own thing for E3.
Basically.
Yeah.
Not quite as bad as that, because third-party publishers can still be there. Like, EA can still have a booth there. Ubisoft can still have a booth there. Square Enix can still have a booth there. There's still big players that can still be there, as a difference as to where Marvel and DC dropped out of Comic-Con. There's who's really left besides like Image.
Well, I mean, yes, as far as comic books go, but also Comic-Con's more than just comics now. There's
True.
all sorts of movies and TV and other things like that. So they would still have big name shows and things like that. They just wouldn't have the two major comic names.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I'm saying here is, you've got publishers who make games for these, but you're not going to have the big name announcements from Nintendo. You're not getting anything on like Pokemon or anything that's like Nintendo Direct, specifically probably PlayStation stuff they want to save.
Yeah, stuff like
their
Spider-Man.
announcements, stuff like that.
But what they might do, because this has been done before, is have their own show floor kind of thing happening at the same time as E3 in another building. Because they've done that. They've done that before. Like it's in like, Nintendo, like Xbox has had their own thing like in another building before. And then EA has done it too, like the whole EA Play thing. Like it was outside in like a parking lot or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, they've done it before. And that Justin, thank you, Justin. I actually wore this on the latest episode of Return to Wrestling. So you should go check that out on Patreon for $1.
Oh, yeah.
It is available on Patreon for $1 right now, and it was a fucking blast. So yeah, this doesn't really mean anything for gaming fans as far like you're still gonna get all your news, you're still gonna get all your announcements. It's just gonna be different times and different places set up by the major companies if you're looking forward to something from Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation. However, it could be a huge blow for E3, maybe not, depending on what those publishers want to do. If they want to stick with, the companies and do their announcements there, if they want to do them here, we'll see how it goes. They still have Steam. So like, hey, you still have PC.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, a lot of the mainstream audience isn't paying attention to PC gaming.
Unfortunately.
So it's just, like people like me do, but I have a PC built for it. And if you're not going to spend that kind of money building a PC to really play games on it like that, you're not really paying attention to where Steam is,
Well, shit, then it's E3, it's entertainment. If they can't get console games, get into some fucking tabletop games. Get the D&D crowd in there.
The
D&D booths. Travis will go for that.
E3 is Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Okay, so add some electronics. Like we just plugged my central. God damn it, we just plugged my central secret. See? Anyway.
Didn't think you'd be that upset about it.
I just had.
He loves a good segue. That's all it is.
You segued me. I love segueing. I love finding the segue, and adding some electronics was my perfect segue. And you already made me bust my nut early, Vince.
All that means is that you can bust it again later on.
Well, trust me, I got something for the other stuff. So
all right. I won't make you pre-cum.
Let's get into the other stuff.
That's all I wanted. Later, y'all.
All right. Do you have the video for the DC stuff pulled up or no?
The video for the DC stuff, I shared it in the Slack. No, so that's actually what I'm trying to do at the moment.
All right, and I'm doing that. I'm going to do something else. So we're going to go here and paste and go. And then I'm going to... So we're going to take a look at Cody Rhodes' entrance for 2K23. Oh, I guess you got it up. I cannot hear it, though.
Give me 1 sec. 1 sec here. Unfortunately, the only way I could do it is just share my Twitter. Let me know if you can hear it. Just give me a...
Hey, everybody. I'm James. Yep. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCEU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love, that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes.
Do you
Something
want to
we're going to
pause
do that's a little bit different at DC.
No, just let it go.
Into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Okay, pause it.
Next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU.
Yes.
All right, so those were the last two were going to be animated. Was that what I heard?
No. The first one is animated. The Amanda Waller one, he didn't confirm whether it was animated or not. He's just using these illustrations to just kind of give you an idea of what they're going for. Like, so he has something to play on his Twitter video, and it's not just him just like talking the entire time. So like the first project, animation, the Waller one looks like it's just going to be an HBO series. It's going to be TVMA rated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so it sounds like we're getting Shazam, and then Shazam is going to lead into Flash, and Flash is going to reset everything.
Yes.
And then then we're going to get Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2. I'm very concerned yet interested in how this is going to work, because
exactly.
There's all the Ezra Miller stuff and everything that's happened with this movie.
Jesus.
But if it resets it and then we go into Aquaman 2, like, why are we doing Aquaman 2 if we're resetting everything? That is my question. It would make sense to reset everything and completely start from scratch. Now, there's also a lot of controversy behind James Gunn. I loved what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. It seems like these misfit groups is what he loves to do. And the Suicide Squad that he did and all this stuff. So we'll see where this goes. I'm interested. I mean, he did great with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like
he did.
Controversy about him aside, like, I fucking love the Guardians of the Galaxy movie itself. And I liked the last Suicide Squad from DC. I liked it way more than I liked the first Suicide Squad from DC. So, because that movie was fucking trash. Travis might be mad at me because
aside from Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, like,
which is the only thing they brought back, by the way.
Which was the only thing they needed.
What's his name? The dude that fuck. The white guy that ran the shit.
Oh, yeah.
Tall, skinny white dude.
Tall, skinny white dude. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Well, they kind of needed it.
Travis, what's his name?
Travis.
What's up, Allison?
Yeah, let us know. So that's what I was going to tell you. I'm like, I think it's best if we pause in between, like, while he talks about stuff.
Well, I didn't want you to pause after everything.
No.
I wanted to break in between.
Yes.
So now he's going to go into the DCEU. So let's take a look at that.
First off is I did want to talk about Blue Beetle because I'm low-key excited because Blue Beetle has become one of my favorite comic book characters of all time now. Granted, it helps that it's like some representation as well in the form of Jaime Reyes. I love them. I love him in the Young Justice TV show where he was first introduced to me. I like them in the why am I drawing a blank? The DC fighting game? Injustice,
Gods Among Us, and Gods Among Us
Injustice 2. Injustice 2 is where he was introduced as well. And some of the Teen Titans animated films from the DC universe, that was fantastic. I just like seeing it. I think he's a very cool character. He was like one of the main big pieces of season 2 of Young Justice. So I'm just happy to see him on the big screen, see that character, because between him and Static Shock, those are two characters that I wish I could see in film. So I'm very much excited for that. And the fact that he was never on before, I think he just fits in perfectly with this whole reboot that they're trying to do, or this soft reset that they're doing.
Okay.
I'm gonna continue the video. We got like 3 more minutes.
Yeah, let's go.
This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the...
Okay. So first things first there is that they gave us a confirmed announcement of when we're going to be getting our first Superman movie in this new DC universe.
Boo!
I know you're not a fan of Superman as much as
it's
you
not
are.
that I'm not a fan of Superman. Superman fucking sucks.
Go on your tirade. I know you're gonna.
I don't need to go on a tirade. He has all the fucking powers. He's so fucking perfect. Like, I actually enjoyed Henry Cavill, and the Superman Lois show that they did for CW was actually kind of cool and everything like that. But yeah, as a character, Superman doesn't appeal to me. It's Goku who also doesn't appeal to me. There's nothing appealing to me about somebody who has all of the strength and all of the power in the world and is just absolutely uncorruptibly good. So unless we're going to go with like dark Nazi Superman, I'm not into it.
Well, it is scheduled to be released in theaters on July 11th, 2025. So there's that for any of our Superman fans in the chat or that are going to be watching the recording of this later. Also, I'm very excited. The thing that excited me the most from everything he just talked about right then and there was the Lantern show between Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. I think that's kind of cool, especially if it's going to be kind of like a detective cop type of situation where they're like essentially the authority in planet Earth and stuff from like the rest of the universe. So that's really cool, and I'm glad that they're doing something with the Lanterns since that debacle of Green Lantern film that was way back when.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds can't do everything perfect. His first couple forays were a misstep, but we got Deadpool out of it, and Deadpool's fucking fantastic. So I'm with you on the Lantern stuff. My issue with all of this, like, again, I need to see how this is a reset because there is already kind of sort of canonically stuff they set up, then they canceled for the CW that was setting up a Green Lantern. Like, there's just so much shit out there, and I need a more concise MCU-esque book, whatever. Like he said, like there's going to be Elseworlds, so there'll be stuff outside of it that they're going to still do that are projects that aren't part of the DCEU itself and all that, and it'll be labeled that way, which I like because then okay, I'm not going in for a DCEU movie. This is going to be DC, but it's going to be something else. So like that I'm with. But this Lantern Corps thing, very interested in to see who they cast and the big mystery that ties into the universe. I like that the TV shows are going to, because now we've got Doom Patrol, which they're canceling. You've got Titans, which they're canceling, and none of that folds into like there's just DC everywhere and none of it connects.
I like how he did specify that anything that's connected and he condensed it with like just DCU makes it so much easier than DCEU. It's too many letters in it. So DCU is going to be one thing, and then there's DC Elseworld, and that's going to be stuff like Teen Titans Go, Joker that released, and then obviously Vampire Batman. So all that stuff is going to be separate from this continuity.
I need never mind. I was gonna say I need James Wan to do Vampire Batman. I love me some James Wan.
All right, let's wrap this up.
DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line. And so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
So yeah, there was a lot there. So why don't we unpack the last couple things he talked about? Batman Brave and Bold. I like that they're actually bringing in Robin and Damian Wayne Robin at that, because we've seen Dick Grayson Robin obviously shown on screen. And this is going to be an interesting portrayal because if Damian Wayne is in my top Robin, he's number 2. He's up there in terms of one of my favorite Robins. I think he has the most interesting character dynamic with Batman, given the fact that he's his son, even though he's basically a test tube baby, and he was basically day raped in order to give birth to Damian. It's a little dark, but still. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully this leads to the expansion of the Bat family in the DCU, which I'm a fan of. I love Nightwing. I like the Red Hood. Red Hood is one of my favorite DC characters in the whole Batman universe. Then you have Batgirl, Batwoman, Nightwing. So there's a lot here.
Yes, there is. My issue... Personal issue is starting with Damian Wayne means that we're missing out. I don't like what DC did where they started out and they went back and retroactively did origin stories after the fact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
which is kind of stupid.
We're going to bring in Batwoman. We're going to bring in Batgirl. He said the Bat family, Nightwing, Red Hood. All these things. And I know there are other Robins after Damian, I believe, at least one, if not two. And then the Robins before him become so on and so forth. But we're missing all of these stories to start with Damian. you know.
Mhm.
So we're gonna introduce a Nightwing, but not, you know, I don't know. I
The
say
only
you
way
start with Batman
Mhm.
and you start with the first fucking Robin, and you start at the beginning. You start at the beginning, and then you work your way out. You don't start in the fucking middle. And
Actually,
then
this is
expand out
towards
from there.
they're
The end,
starting like
yeah.
towards the newest continuity of Batman and Robin. And my only issue with it is that, like you were saying, like, so when we get introduced to Dick Grayson, he's already Nightwing, and we're supposed like it's basically taking into account that, like, oh well, the fans already know the fucking story, so we don't have to fucking explain it. Just like AEW does, was like, well, you already know these indie wrestlers, we're just gonna throw them on TV without any explanation, which I know you fucking hate. Jason Todd, so he's already like dead from the Joker, resuscitated, and now he's this killing version of Batman.
And the thing
And
is,
Tim Drake is out there Red Robining it up.
and the thing is, like, I know the histories of these characters and everything, but I still want to see them play out in film.
Exactly.
I may be familiar with some of the wrestlers that they bring in AEW, have heard of them, and, you know, I'm aware of who they are, but I'd still like you to present me something to be like, hey, this is who you're getting. This is why they're important. I don't want them to just show up and have you be like, oh, well, you know, you watch New Japan, so you know who so-and-so is, and you should just be excited off that. No, your job is to get me fucking excited. It's not my job to get myself excited for your product. And I have always argued that, and I'm arguing the same thing here, is it is DC's job to tell me a cohesive, concise story. And that is the one thing he said that worried me, is he said the story and the director's and writer's vision is of utmost importance. And to me, the way everything connects should be of utmost importance.
Yes.
The continuity should be of utmost importance.
Because you're supposed to do all these things that like are vaguely connected, so that when you finally do connect it all together in one big film like the Avengers did, or how they wanted to do with Justice League, like it all, like, it's this big anticipated climactic finish. And like you were saying, the issue that they did initially with DCEU was they're like, let's have our big superhero mashup film, and in that film give origins to some characters, and then after the movie we're gonna do the origin stories, which was fucking stupid to begin with.
I agree.
Because like, you do the origin story for Wonder Woman and Aquaman after the fact, and I'm over here still waiting for my Cyborg fucking film, which we never got.
Yeah.
We never fucking got. Out of all those characters, Cyborg was was my favorite. And
let's talk about the last two big projects, because there was one in there that he mentioned that was just like, again, it's going to be like a Suicide Squad or a Guardians of the Galaxy. It'll probably end up being good. I'm not familiar with the character. Yeah, I don't know the characters. I'm not familiar with them. Yeah, whatever.
I didn't care for it.
Swamp Thing being horror, I'm interested in.
Yes.
I'm interested in, but I have been often told that this is going to be horror comic book movie, and it isn't really. It's very light on the horror. So I would like to see an actual horror comic book movie that is heavy on the horror. We'll see how that goes.
Well, what if it's not actually like horror per se, but has a lot of horror elements to it?
Then don't call it horror. Then don't tell me it's horror. Then just tell me it's a fucking comic book movie and have the elements in there. But don't tell me it's going to be a horror comic book movie and not give me horror.
Kind of like when you're like, if someone tells you, oh, we're going to go watch an R-rated film, but there's no nipples.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. If we're going to do hard R and TVMA stuff, fingers crossed for some nudity for a change. I wouldn't mind
watching porn parodies on Pornhub.
Like, it is what it is. Hey.
The other, like, I saw the Swamp thing and it said horror, and like, I really hope it does live up to that billing of it, because I thought of you immediately. I'm like, oh, Matt's gonna like the Swamp Thing, the Swamp Thing show or movie or whatever, if it actually is a horror-esque genre movie. The other thing was Supergirl, the Supergirl project. That I'm more interested in than anything Superman related, to be honest with you, because I've never cared about Superman, but Supergirl has always been like, even though it's essentially the same character in terms of powers, the dynamic and like the characteristics and the personality of Supergirl / Power Girl or whatever is so much better than anything with Clark Kent's Superman.
I just kind of hope that we eventually get to the point to where Supergirl gets her face splattered by Doomsday. But
okay,
that is my most vivid memory of the comics of Supergirl is
Okay.
the Doomsday Superman graphic novel or whatever, Doomsday, where basically he just like smashes her off the top of a building and her face turns to like putty.
jeez.
So
Well, yeah. That's one. We'll see.
anything
We'll
else
see
you-
what the Swamp Thing thing is listed as a horror film, so it better be a horror film then.
yeah. Anything else you want to touch on from this?
It doesn't get touched upon on the video, but it was confirmed that the Batman Part 2 will be released on October 3rd, 2025. So there's that.
Woo-hoo. More sparkly vampire Batman.
No, that's pretty much it. It's not on the news and rumors thing. It got removed because it was announced over a month ago. But since we are talking about DC and HBO Max, I don't know if you were a fan of it or not, but Batman: The Brave and the Bold, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited are all being removed today from HBO Max, which is fucking ridiculous. Because I barely just got my HBO Max, and I was literally getting it so I can watch all the DC animated stuff. And one of the things I was going to start watching was the Batman the animated series from start to beginning, then jump into Justice League, and then go to Justice League Unlimited, and then go back to Young Justice. And I'm just pissed.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on. I got a couple things I want to touch on before we go. One, it was announced, or it wasn't announced, it happened. Travis and I talked a little bit about the Royal Rumble yesterday. I know you've got Spit or Swallow coming up, but Cody Rhodes is finally fulfilling the prophecy, the dream. He's the uncrowned champion. He won the Royal Rumble. This is someone who has gone out, from WWE, made a name for himself, done all of these things on the independent circuit, and then helping to form AEW, where, he had memorable moments. He took himself out of the main title picture there. He had that dog collar match with Brody Lee. And, if you want to have your own dog collar match, you can always go to dog.com. Dog.com is your online supplies, shopping, and information destination. Everything your dog needs, from toys to treats and food, is available, including collars and leashes. They even have outdoor gear and water safety gear for your furry friends. So go to dog.creationworld.com to receive up to 64% off your order. That is dog.creationworld.com. And you can get yourself a dog collar like Cody Rhodes, and maybe, you and your friends can have a dog collar match in the backyard. Get a nice chain between you. Whatever you got, whatever you're into.
You used to have a backyard wrestling federation.
But they did officially drop Cody Rhodes' entrance, so we're going to watch that real quick.
Perfect. I already watched it, and I have some critiques.
Yeah, but we're not doing this for you. We're doing it for everyone else.
No, I know. I'm just mentioning that.
Adrenaline in my soul as I approach this glory hole.
First thing off the bat, the jacket looks great.
The jackets always look clunky to me in these games.
They do, but I don't know how you fix that. I'm not a video game person. I don't know how to code or And it's gonna look even clunkier when you have a championship on him.
Oh yeah,
it's just gonna look like it's glitchy and floating everywhere.
That is a big problem that they always have had. Where
Remember that 1 year? Yeah, remember that 1 year? I can't remember what SmackDown vs. Raw series it was, but the championships were puny. They're so tiny, wrapped around the wrestler's waist.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. It's always the hardest thing to get right. I forget how much pyro Cody has in his entrance until he comes out to the ring.
I mean, like I said, I'm probably not gonna get this game just because I'm out of it, but this does look beautiful. Like the graphics are awesome.
I am gonna get the game for sure, just because Bad Bunny's a pre-order bonus, man. Just when I think I'm out, they reel me back fucking in. And John Cena's the cover. They're gonna do a showcase mode with John Cena. Fantastic. That's actually what I should do. I never actually got a chance to get around to the Rey Mysterio showcase mode, so I'm gonna do that. Especially since my younger sister Angela, she actually made an appearance with her Mexican flag in like one of the cut scenes.
Yeah, the Italian flag with the tattoo on it. Continue.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked it. My only critique about the entrance is, if you notice, he just kind of like appears from the back, with a back shot, and you see the back of his jacket and stuff. Unlike his WrestleMania entrance, where he just kind of rolls from the stage, or his current regular entrance, where there's a bunch of like smoke, like Edge, and then like pyro goes off, and he just magically appears. That would have made the entrance a little bit cooler. I don't know if they just couldn't make that happen, or what it was,
Vince,
but yeah.
Listen, Vince, it's not about that. You know what it's about? It's about adrenaline in his soul. And if you want adrenaline in your soul, we have the answer for you. W is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like other energy drinks. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. W contains vitamins, amino acids, nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. The product is made in the USA and in FDA-inspected facilities that strictly adhere to GMP manufacturing guidelines. W has handpicked what they believe are the 10 most critical ingredients for focus and concentration. W contains important aminos and vitamins that canned energy drinks simply just don't have. W uses Neurofactor, a patented all-natural coffee cherry extract, to help fuel you. This ingredient is what gives W its laser-focused and fast reflexes, making it especially perfect for gamers like those of you who will be picking up and playing 2K23. They disclose full ingredient amounts, and the products will never contain fillers or artificial colors or dyes. W is also sugar-free, maltodextrin-free, and keto-friendly for people like me who are on a diet. So go to w.creationworld.com and use code Creatia to receive 10% off your order today. That's w.creationworld.com and use code Creatia, CREATIA. Get some adrenaline in your soul, Vince.
I'm never really too adrenaline driven this early in the day.
Listen, we'll get adrenaline in your soul. We'll work on that glory hole thing you and I talked about a couple weeks ago. You can feel like Cody Rhodes.
Something Cody Rhodes. Got it.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. Do we got any more newsy stuff?
There's one thing, but you and Travis can cover it tomorrow because I have to get going.
All right.
So I'll leave that for you guys tomorrow. Vince, please plug yourself.
Yes. So you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SCSVince. We just recently released 2 episodes of the Straight Talk podcast. This Saturday afternoon, we dropped our Bulls therapy session, where we just kind of like rant and raved and like vented about all things Chicago Bulls struggles. On yesterday, Monday, we dropped our NBA All-Star Predictions podcast, predicting who will make the reserves team for both conferences in the NBA All-Star game. They're going to be officially announced this Thursday. But in terms of wrestling stuff, Matt, you might be interested or not. Tomorrow, live on YouTube and Twitch here on Creatia World, we will be bringing back Spit or Swallow, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So we will be live here on youtube.com/Creatia World and twitch.tv/Creatia World talking Royal Rumble. I will be bringing in Justin from the Get Show podcast and Benji Calavera, the fantastic artist that always drops fantastic art pieces. So go make sure you have the bell notifications for Creatia World and subscribe.
You got the time stone?
The time stone?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how you're going to go 11:30 p.m. Central, but midnight Eastern.
Well, technically,
so wouldn't it be 12:30 a.m. Eastern, 11:30 p.m. Central? because they're an hour off. You can't.
Yeah,
can't be
yeah.
half-
I was trying to say. I was trying to say midnight.
I
like-
just want to make sure that the Eastern folks don't show up at 12 and they're like, "Where the fuck is Vince? He was supposed to be here." Well, the Central people are like 11:30,
12:30 a.m. Eastern, half an hour past midnight. There you go.
And as always, you can follow me at Ridders at MATTRIDDER on Twitter only, or at Getting Doffed on Twitter only. Again, Smacking Raw, 11:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. Central Time, 12 Eastern every Friday. You can come check us out as we talk about everything wrestling outside of Vince's pay-per-view Spit or Swallow reviews. Creatia World is the banner under which that podcast and all of the stuff here on Creatia World exists. And you guys can check us out at twitch.tv/Creatia World, youtube.com/Creatia World. You can sub at both of those locations. YouTube is free. Give us a like, comments, help the algorithm. Also, turn on your notifications so you know anytime we go live over at Twitch. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can give us a free sub every month. That helps us out and takes money out of Jeff Bezos' pocket, which we appreciate. Or if you've got the cash and you want to support us out of your own pocket, we'd appreciate that too. But make sure, whether you have that free Amazon Prime sub or not, you give it to somebody that you love on Twitch. Don't let them keep that money. If you're watching after the fact, you can watch it on YouTube. You can listen on all the audio platforms, which you can find at linktree/Creatia World, or the video form on Pornhub, which is my favorite, pornhub.com/model/Creatia World. You want to support us if you have the money and the means to, and you love what we do, or you just got $1 that you can toss us every month. Patreon.com/Creatia World. And that $1 gets you Multiverse with Travis and Mara, Return to Wrestling with me and Travis, where we cover WCW and so much more. So go check that out. If you want to follow Creatia World on Twitter and Instagram, because Vince, I, and Mara will be engaging a lot more across those platforms, go to at It's Creatia World, ITSCREATIA World. There. Also, you can follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/Creatia World. Or if you just want to get to know more about us, see some videos on who we are, why we do this, and info about us, you can go to creatiaworld.com. That'll also give you everything you need to know about us.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
No, I mean you covered it all. You wrapped it all up nice and neat. No spillage.
I always wrap it up.
Yeah.
Vince.
Yes.
You are the Pornhub Poppy, and for the Pornhub Poppy, I am the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Mad Ritter, and this has been your number one news source for all that nerdish on Pornhub.